Welcome to Radio Days with Gary Music Miller. Now here's your co-host, Dave Black.
Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to another episode of Radio Days with Gary Music Miller. I'm Dave Black, your co-host. This is the aforementioned Gary Music Miller, longtime voice at WKEE, music director, and all sorts of other sundry titles he held.
Anything they needed.
That's right. And he's in the Hall of Fame here at the West Virginia Broadcasting Hall of Fame. Inside of the museum we are filming this program in. It's the Museum of Radio and Technology, 1640 Florence Avenue in Huntington. Get out here. That's all I can tell you. You need to see it. And you can even see his wonderful picture on the wall.
Yeah, there's a picture on the wall with Holland Oates and Billy Ray Cyrus. Those are the only pictures they could dig up of me, I think. But this very place that we're at, and I ended it with that, this very place at where we are is you can actually come in here and take a look and see where Gary and Dave do Radio Days every couple of weeks.
Yeah. And a lot of times you don't know
Sit
this.
down here and pretend they're me.
You don't know this about Gary, but very kind. He is just so helpful. He escorted an elderly woman across the street. The elderly woman hit him. Well, she didn't want to go. That's the reason. Anyway.
Okay, that's probably true.
Yeah. But at least you tried to do a good deed.
Yeah, try.
Today, of all days to do this program, it's Father's Day. That's the 21st of June.
It is Father's Day.
Would
you like me to mention this real quick?
And also, well, before we get to Gary, also today is the last show we're probably going to do of the month. So we are going to go through some of the YouTube comments from where we left off, which was at the first of the year. Our last one was in 2025. So we're going to pick up and go through some messages here and then some comments most of them are very kind and some of them are informative. So, Gary, if you want to take off with what you got, go ahead.
I'm not going to. I just thought because of Father's Day, there are two songs that were right around the same time. Son of My Father was by a group called Chicory Tip. And you may or may not have heard this. He heard it on a music channel, I believe, one time. And the song went to number 1 in the UK, and it went to number 98 on the US Billboard Hot 100 chart. So who has the better sense there, England or America? I don't know. There's another song you may be more familiar with called Color Him, Father. It was done by the Winstons in 1979, I believe, 1969, I guess. It went to number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. And the only reason I wrote those down is somebody said to me, are you going to do the show tomorrow? I said, yeah. Are you going to mention Father's Day? I said, well, I wasn't, but let me find these two songs. Is there a song by any chance that comes to your mind when you think of fatherhood? There's one song that will always come to my mind, and I don't mean.
Well, I just heard it today. It was Family of Man.
Family of Man. Three Dog Night was on a little bit earlier today. For some reason, I equate Father's Day with Cats in the Cradle. And it's just, Cats in the Cradle is a classic interaction between a father and a son. And that's the only Father's Day song I could even come up with. Yeah. So
the late great
Harry Chapin.
Harry Chapin. It was just fantastic telling stories in song. They just such a great.
But if someone were to mention you did this on Mother's Day or on Father's Day, why didn't you mention father songs? That was all really I could think of, and there may be more out there. Somebody will let us know if there is. You have comments from
these are YouTube comments.
And probably from our email.
Well, no, I don't have any. Don't have the emails. But I've got.
Well, there wasn't much in the email.
No, not really.
We get a lot of spam.
Those messages anybody can read.
somebody wrote me and asked me, "Can you play this song?" I'm like, "I'm not on the radio anymore."
Oh.
So
if you want copyright strikes, just all I'm saying is
yeah,
anymore, you can't even use your own voice. You can't sing the song you're talking about without getting a copyright strike. And that is honest to goodness truth.
that is true.
So
and it's hurting a lot of people that do this for a living.
Yeah.
I have heard there's a 10-second rule, so if I start singing, shut me out.
I have heard that.
10 seconds.
I have heard 8 seconds.
Or 8 seconds.
So
okay.
who knows?
There's also something I believe on YouTube. It seems there are people there that just love being on YouTube because they can say words they couldn't say when they were on the radio. And that word comes out, those words come out every other sentence. But supposedly, in the first 10 seconds of your broadcast, you can't use
you can't
one
use
of those
vulgarity.
rules. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
Our first episode was called Hits That Didn't Start That Way. This is our first one of season 5. So we've got, as usual, we get a comment from our show friend David Mills, who just absolutely thought the show was wonderful. He says, "Another great show. Thank you for the shout out, Dave," which I did give him a little props there. As usual, my music history knowledge is based mostly on country music. So let me point out a famous case where an initial flop became a hit. Jim Reeves, which I'm sure you're aware of, Jim Reeves.
I remember She's Something to Go.
She's got to go.
She's got to go.
And I'm going to get copyright strike. He's famous for his signature song, "He'll Have to Go." That's what He'll Have
to Go. Yeah.
But this song was not originally released by Jim Reeves. There was a previous record by a singer named Bobby Brown, not the guy that was married to Whitney. Jim Reeves was driving his car one day and heard Bobby Brown's version played on the radio. Reeves knew this song would fit his own vocal register perfectly. So he hoped beyond hope that Brown's version would not be a hit. It wasn't. It was a total flop. Reeves then decided to record the song, and it became his most successful recording.
Wow.
So if you want to be a very advantageous person, that's the way to do it. Just hope the worst for your competition.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't believe he didn't have to pay that guy that originally made it something. But we're going to get into that on the pop side here in a couple of minutes. Right. So who knows? Yeah.
Season 5, episode 2 was our song about parenthetical titles in songs.
Songs with parentheses.
And our friend of the channel and a one-time guest, Paul, which everybody knows.
Paul Urbans.
Everybody knows who Paul is.
Yeah.
Paul says, "For me as a former DJ, the worst thing that happens when someone requested a song not using the lyrics because they couldn't remember it, but instead would hum the song over the telephone." That is
that's happened. That's happened. Hum or sing.
I mean, it's bad enough when they don't know the title and they're telling you every other lyric in the song.
And I've actually had people call me and say, "I got this song from you guys. Can you tell me what it is?" They'll turn it on. They'll turn on the cassette recording, and you just can't hear it. I have no idea what that was. Well, you played it on key, but I'm sorry, I that's not a good enough recording for me. So
yeah,
but yeah, that's a good observation, Paul.
Okay, I'm hoping that I did not make a mistake here in my syntax.
Okay,
I want to make sure I'm on the right page. Okay.
It would be a syntax.
Yes, I should be hit with a syntax if I did.
That's right. Okay.
Okay. Dave Mills says, when I heard the topic of today's show, it didn't sound like a particularly interesting topic, but you guys made it one of your best shows. Good job. Gary casually mentioned something that might make a good topic for a future program. Artist that didn't like a song but recorded the song anyway, and it went on to become a big hit, which it very well could. We do take any sort of suggestions. That's the only way we get better.
We sure do.
and he, of course, he's a country music buff, and I mean the old school.
Sure, sure.
He said one that he was thinking about that in the country realm with George Jones offered the song "He Stopped Loving Her Today."
Oh, wow.
He was offered that song. Jones listened, shook his head, and said, "No, nobody wants to listen to that sad-ass song." Jones did record the song, and it became one of country music's top sellers of all time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I know the song quite well.
Yeah. Clipper Guy Clip sent a little message, says, "Please clear up something that is confusing me. One song that popped into my mind is Physical by Olivia Newton-John. Yes. I've seen it pre-titled with Let's Get. Is that the official title, or is that one that fans added but not done by the record label?"
And I would need to look that up. I've only known it as Physical. And I don't believe I've ever seen Let's Get in parentheses before it. I saw it a lot because it was number one for, I believe, 10 weeks and kept some other songs probably that deserved the number one spot out, but it was that popular.
Yeah.
And
Paul Urbans replied, "Physical is the title on all releases prior to 2000. Then it changed to Let's Get Physical without parentheses. No idea why."
I did not know that. And I wouldn't have probably known that after 2000. We didn't play it much. It was a 1980 hit, as I recall. 79 or 80.
Okay.
With 10 weeks, probably both 79 and 80.
I think I've got these backwards. I need to... I
do that myself.
That's what I get for stacking stuff the wrong way. Okay. Episode 3 was about the year 1976. Some of you remember that year. Some of you don't. If you don't remember it, that's the spirit.
You probably were there if you don't remember it.
Yeah. See, David Mills writes, "Good show. I actually remember quite a lot of those songs, despite being 50 years old. It's hard to believe."
Very hard to believe.
Yeah, it's just amazing. But that was a time in pop and rock music that, not because that I grew up during that period in my formative years, it was just that it was so good.
Yeah, yeah.
And nothing sounded the same. You got a different sound from every band, and that's what made it great, in my opinion.
Probably did. I got to make a decision on a lot of those songs.
Right.
So I hope I didn't make the wrong one.
Right. We did an episode 4. We did a topic on songs that didn't have any drums in them.
Right.
Yeah. And Dave writes us again that everybody gives credit to the singers, but never the backup musicians. Today's topic was very interesting in that I never really thought of that question before about songs with no drummers. The famous song that immediately came to my mind without drums was Mr. Rogers singing "It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood."
Missed playing that.
Oh, boy, that's something. Okay. Episode 6.
Mr. McFeely or somebody didn't play drums on that?
No, he didn't.
Oh, okay.
He played the tin cans. Movie and TV stars that had hits was from episode 6. And Paul writes us, "A great nostalgia show. Gary overlooked Shelley Fabares starred in 3 Elvis Presley movies between 65 and 67.
Yeah.
She was the only actress to play the leading lady in 3 separate Elvis feature films, which included Gin Happy, Girl Happy, in 1965, Spin Out in 1966, in some countries called California Holiday.
Yeah.
And Clam Bake in 1967. Apparently, Elvis appreciated her acting. I'd like to mention another big 1964 hit, Ringo by Lauren Green, who was on the long-running series Bonanza 59 to 73.
That song went to number 1. I guess you'd call it a song, a spoken word record.
Mm-hmm.
But it was amazing to me that a song at the end of 1964, I think it was the last #1 song from 64 or something. 64 was the height of Beatlemania, and here Lauren Green comes along with a song about a character named Ringo. And I'm just wondering how many people bought Ringo by Lauren Green thinking it was about Ringo Starr. So you never know. But it was interesting timing on that. Yeah.
Okay. Episode 8 was about 1981 again.
Yes.
Dave Mills writes, says, "Great show. This is the first time in recorded history that Dave has been stumped. No, not quite. Even momentarily on a question involving pop music history. You're right, Gary. I am very surprised that a pop music song used a steel guitar in 1981. Even in the country music field, record companies in 1981 were beginning to eliminate steel guitars from their singles and albums because the country music industry was trying to project a more modern sound, and steel guitars had long been associated with the traditional twangy country sound. I personally never learned to play steel guitar, but I'm told it's one of the most difficult of all instruments to play. I've noticed the new graphics overlay on the channel is using. It looks good. Thank you, blah, blah, blah."
Okay. If you're wondering what song he's referring to, there was a song by a Cleveland group called Graf, Graf. You can find it on YouTube. It was one of my, at the end of every show, I try to do a You Gotta Hear This segment, which allows you to play music director. It's a song that I got to hear because it came in to the radio station, but it didn't make it on the radio because it wasn't a hit. And I've been asked often, and I think probably 95% of the songs that we got in did not make it on the radio. If you were lucky enough to be in that 3 to 5% centile, you were in good shape. But he's talking about a song called Graf, Come to My Arms. If you haven't heard it, it's one of my favorite songs, and it didn't make it, and it uses steel guitar. It's a pop song. It's on YouTube.
Right. And the episode we talked about, it's I can't remember which one. Was that it? The 1981?
I think we talked about songs that I wish had done better.
But there's a link to it below in the description.
Yeah.
Episode 9 was called Not Very Nice.
Right.
It was about songs that had titles that were not quite as kind to the person they were talking about. Yeah. Paul writes us and says, Gloria Gaynor's I Will Survive 1978 is widely considered the best and most iconic disco recording, winning the only Grammy Award ever presented for Best Disco Recording in 1980. The reason it received the only Grammy Award ever for disco recording is because 1981 disco was basically over. It's a great record. Dave Mills says, as for cruel songs, how about Elvis Presley? Don't be cruel, and you ain't nothing but a hound dog.
Sure.
Which actually was called Hound Dog.
Yeah.
In the realm of pure country, the cruel title was Roy Clark's Thank God and Greyhound You're Gone.
Yeah. That was a very funny song.
Yes, it was. I remember that. A lot of people don't.
Yes.
I watched a video on YouTube, which I'm constantly watching those videos. And it was a reaction video to a guy watching Roy Clark play guitar for the first time. And all he could do was this. We couldn't believe the speed at which this guy played and how great he actually was, which he was an absolutely fantastic guitarist.
Yeah,
Par excellence. Okay, let's finish up here with episode 11. Gary, it's called Gary Gets Stumped About His Favorite Band, which was written not long ago. David Mills says, another very entertaining and information-packed show. You guys have the best memories on the planet. I don't think so, but however, thank you.
We try.
Excellent job as always. Your background in broadcasting is evident in these podcasts in that I can actually understand every word that you both say. Lots of YouTube channels have audio that is, to me, so muddy that I can't understand a word. I have an idea for a possible future show. Do a show explaining how and where the various rock groups got their odd names and make a list of the oddest names.
That probably would be fun to do, and there are some strange
that would be
names.
Revco comes to mind. I'll just leave it at that.
The strawberry alarm clock comes to mind for me.
And listening to
we'll probably talk about that song at some point.
Okay. And listening to you today, I heard the names of many rock groups and wondered how in the world they came to be named what they are.
Yeah,
that might be a hard subject to research, but I know you guys are up to the task. Another show idea.
Good idea.
Yeah. Another show idea is for the two of you to give your viewers and subscribers like me a tour of the museum. I think I speak for a lot of people who watch the podcast when I say we'd be fascinated to see you guys walking through the exhibits and maybe giving a brief explanation of the historic hardware we're seeing.
Yeah.
Well, that is good. That's all well and good. I mean, the museum depends on foot traffic. Now, any other time you walk right through here and just take all the video we want and just leave.
Yeah.
However, they depend on the foot traffic of the public to come in.
Right.
And it is free of charge, but they will take a donation, and it is nice to donate every now and then, even if it's a couple of bucks, 50 cents, whatever you can manage. It keeps the place afloat, and I'm sure this place takes a lot to keep going with the electricity and everything else.
Yeah.
But someday we might film one or two exhibits, and
we might do that.
Leave it at that. And you answered him. The terrific ideas. We'll see if we can give one or both our attention. Thank you for your support.
I can go back to Strawberry Alarm Clock, go for as far as head as Blind Melon.
Yeah.
90s, 80s. There were a lot of those in the late 60s and so forth.
Mott the Hoople. Mott the Hoople. What is a hoople? I don't know.
I don't know
what is a mott besides applesauce.
Chicory Tip did Son of My Father. I had two comments that I found on Twitter, X, and I may be missing a couple. I apologize for that. Mike Herbert sent me probably the most ridiculous song I've ever heard. A ridiculous question. He asked me about ABBA. He said, I take it from your previous broadcast that you like the group ABBA, which I do. There is another podcaster who is much more famous than I do that has several times expressed his disdain for ABBA. But I won't mention any names or anything like that. But Mike had a bet with his wife. His wife said Gary's favorite ABBA song is Dancing Queen. And he said to me, I believe you're more of a Mamma Mia type. I don't know what that means. You're both wrong. You're both wrong. My favorite ABBA song of all time, if anybody still cares, is Waterloo. It was their first song, first time I ever got to hear Waterloo, first time I ever got to hear ABBA, first I got to program that song, put it on the air. And what really kills me about that song, you listen very closely, in fact, it doesn't have to be listened to that closely, is the piano part in that song. Da-dun, da-dun, da-dun. And I probably just got fined for that.
Oh, yeah,
but I love the piano on that. The vocals are perfect. The song is great. It won Eurovision Song of the Year, whatever that is. And it also, they gave the 50 best Eurovision song winners. Again, this is over in the UK, no doubt, Europe. And it was the song picked out to represent the entire group. So I'm not alone. Maybe you need to find a boat and ship me over to England.
That song was, of course, sung by Agneta Faltskog.
And Benny played the piano on it, I believe.
ABBA got their name as a acronym of the names of the people in the group. Agneta, Benny, Bjorn, and Annafrid.
And I believe Benny was the piano player I admire so much on that.
Yeah. And Annafrid actually released a single under the name Frida. Called There's Something Going On, I think is what it was called, something of that nature.
Okay. And Mimi said, this will be a quick one to answer Pardon me. I should be drinking water instead of clearing my throat into the microphone. But I'm not a radio pro. What do I know? Mimi asked me, said, what's the earliest song you remember playing whose title was overly sexual? The very first song that comes to mind, and I'll take it that Mimi, you meant songs that might have gotten me into trouble because of the lyrics or because of the title. When anybody asks me about that, my mind goes back to 1972 when Go All the Way was released by the Raspberries. There were songs in the 60s that had to be edited. There were songs in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, but the very first song, Mimi, I remember wondering about was Go All the Way. And it was an oldie by the time I got into Top 40 radio in 1974. But we continued to play it because it was an extremely popular song. Yeah. And Eric Carmen, boy, what voice he had.
It was banned on many radio stations.
It was banned in the UK.
Yeah.
It was banned in the UK.
And then if you think of that one, you can also look at Marvin Gaye's Sexual Healing.
Sure.
Which had many innuendos and
yeah.
could have been banned itself.
There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them for sure. I want to spend this part of the show, and I hope you listened so far all the way through. I want to talk about actually 2 artists and 3 songs. And this probably will be our banner headline on the top of the show. Gary finds a song that's not on YouTube. I thought everything was on YouTube. Almost. I really did. All these unknown songs that I mentioned, and you got to hear this, they're on YouTube.
Now, Eddie Diamond's on there, so you may as well have that. This
guy is on. I would put it on myself, but I don't know how to do that. I want to talk a little bit about the song First Cut is the Deepest. I mentioned it last show, if you were with us. I mentioned that a guy named Keith Hampshire did the song, and I famously or infamously left out probably the biggest version of the song here in America that I totally forgot about. So I had a listener remind me, a couple of friends reminded me, a couple of family members, why are you talking about this song and you're not mentioning this? So let's start. First Cut in the Deepest First Cut is the Deepest. Great song, I believe, no matter who did it. 1965, Cat Stevens wrote and recorded it. And Cat shopped it around to several singers who all turned the song down. So in 1967, 2 years later, he meets an artist named P.P. Arnold. And it's a girl. It's a girl named P.P. But P.P. Arnold, a female, had the first hit version of the song. In May 1967, it went to number 18 on the UK singles chart. And Cat actually released his version in December of 1967, and don't know why that did not catch on at all. Cat's version, like I believed in 1967, it was a actual hit in New Zealand. I believe it went to number 8. Cat Stevens, The First Cut is the Deepest. He wrote it. He should have had a hit with it, and he didn't hear. Next version is a version I talked about last show, Keith Hampshire. Keith Hampshire had 3 top 10s in Canada. His First Cut is the Deepest went to number 1 in Canada. He got a Juno Award nomination for that song, which is pretty much the Canadian equivalent of a Grammy here. I don't know whether he won the Juno or not, but I told Dave, and Dave said it's definitely a different version. It's very powerful, has some powerful brass in it. So I'll refer you back, if you didn't listen, go to YouTube, Keith Hampshire. Hampshire is in New Hampshire. Keith Hampshire, and the first cut is the deepest. 1977, I forgot all about this. Rod Stewart went to number 1 in the UK, number 21 in the USA, and New Zealand. New Zealand comes through once again. So I forgot about the Rod Stewart version, and these people coming up to say, that's the biggest hit ever. Actually, I'm glad to see that it only went to number 27 in the United States, or 21.
It was as big as Maggie May, wasn't it?
Yeah. And in 2003, Sheryl Crow did First Cut is the Deepest, went to number 14 in the United States. So that song had trouble making a top 10 in the United States, no matter who did it.
Now, you know the way my mind works.
Okay.
And I wonder if Cat Stevens ever got chased by 3 Dog Night.
That would have been an interesting segue.
Now, the next time I watch Green Acres, I'm going to think of P.P. Arnold.
P.P. Arnold, yes. That's a lady's name, and she apparently was a big star in the UK.
Okay.
So
those of you
I never heard of her.
Yeah. Those of you who are fans of Green Acres will understand what I mean.
Exactly. 1973. I hope we didn't get to see Arnold P.P. But in 1973, I was working at a country radio station from 1971 to 74. So I got to bring all the songs home that were not country songs in 1973. And both Keith Hampshire's First Cut is the Deepest and another song I'm going to mention by him came out in 1973. I should have eaten more. I'm probably being overshadowed by my stomach rumbling. In 1973, people know the song, and I mentioned this accidentally last week. I fixed it to the wrong song last show. The song is called I Won't Last a Day Without You. You probably heard it. It was written by Paul Williams and Roger Nichols. That duo wrote We've Only Just Begun and Rainy Days and Mondays, which were both hits for the Carpenters. So We've Only Just Begun and Rainy Days and Mondays. So I Won't Last a Day Without You became a hit for the Carpenters. It went to number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 1 on the Easy Listening chart in 1974. That's when that song became a hit in America. I brought a very rare record with me. It is really rare. I Won't Last a Day Without You was released on Columbia Records in 1973. It predated the Carpenters version by a year. And
it's very rare. It was only cooked for 1 minute on each side.
I'll probably break it on the way home. I've seen it listed as high as $50 for a copy. I've seen it as low as $3 or $4. But the guy's name is Alan Vincent, Allan. If you can find out anything about him, I'd love to hear from you, because it's like the guy never existed. His version of I Won't Last a Day Without You, I think, is phenomenal. I just absolutely fell in love with the song because of Alan Vincent's version. I'll hold it up there. I don't know what you can read or what you can't read, but you can see the definite Columbia across the top, and I Won't Last a Day Without You, Alan Vincent, down below. This is actually a DJ copy. People have wondered about DJ copies. You might be able to see the word mono over here, and then you might be able to see the word stereo on this side. So a lot of people talk about flip sides of records. A lot of records didn't have flip sides when they were serviced DJs. They didn't want the DJ playing at the wrong side, number one, and number two, stereo was coming in, and we were getting away from mono AM radio into stereo FM radio. So, but I'm so happy to be able to show you this song. Columbia, Alan Vincent, I Won't Last a Day Without You. Vincent spelled the way it should be, Alan, Allan. And I would use that as you got to hear this, but I don't think you can. I don't think you can hear it anywhere. I couldn't find it anywhere. I did find it, like I found a single copy, I believe, on eBay, and maybe a song on Amazon, where you literally can get just about anything, but that nobody's ever downloaded this version, and it surprises me. Today's you got to hear this. I promised last time I would bring attention to Keith Hampshire again. He was, as I said, a huge star in Canada. Very rare for a song to be big in Canada, considering how close we are, and not to get any play in the United States, or much play in the United States. In 1973, number 5 in Canada, and one of the biggest hits, did I say, this was released in 1973. I get my dates confused every once in a while. Keith Hampshire went to number 5 in Canada with the song I'm going to mention. It was the second hit from the first cut of the Deepest album that Keith Hampshire put out. And the song is called Big Time Operator, and it's by Keith Hampshire. You can find it on YouTube. You can find both of Keith Hampshire's songs and more on YouTube. I actually sent a note to Keith Hampshire's daughter that we were talking about it, and I haven't heard back from her yet. So she may, I don't even know if she's still around or not. That's the one thing about X and Twitter. They show you have these massive numbers. They never drop anybody. So I've got 3,000 followers supposedly on Twitter. Many of those people are either no longer with us or no longer use Twitter. But how many times can you rhyme a word with operator? He had all these different jobs in the song. He wants to be a big-time operator. He worked an elevator. This was one of the things. He was a wine and brandy waiter. He was a decorator, an estimator, a navigator, and an investigator. And that's just part of the jobs. And that song always fascinated me because it was like, how many times can he rhyme with the word operator, big time operator? So I believe that would be fun for you to check out. Big Time Operator by Keith Hampshire.
I listened to that. I listened to that.
Did you listen?
Yeah, and he missed out on Wrestler of an Alligator.
He did miss out on that.
And just one of the eighters he missed out on.
One of the eighters. But that's the entire story of First Cut is the Deepest, and the entire story of Big Time Operator, and the fact that you probably know the Carpenters version of I Won't Last a Day Without You, but the fact that I have proof that there was a version out a year before, 1973, by Alan Vincent on Columbia, never, ever charted. Don't know what happened to the guy. How do you get on a record label? How do you get on Columbia Records and not have any promotion? And that's no doubt exactly what happened to this. I mentioned it to a Columbia rep one time, and he'd never heard of the record. And I said, well, it's on Columbia, and you work for Columbia Records. So I think that'll take care of just about everything I've got today. You Gotta Hear This, in case it shows up on screen, which it has been doing, is Big Time Operator by Keith Hampshire. And with that...
And Sade should have been in with him because she was a smooth operator.
Smooth operator, so, sure, yeah. How many operator songs are there?
He should have worked for the phone company if you want to be a big-time operator.
A taster of fried taters. There's another one he didn't use. But I didn't mention everyone that he mentions, and it's a fun song to listen to for a while. I was, and then I worked as and then, he just goes off on this list of occupations.
Tell
that
everybody
end
how they
with
can get a hold
Ader.
of you.
Get a hold of me online at RDWGMM, Radio Days with Gary Music Miller. Easy to remember, RDWGMM at gmail.com. I'd like to see that used a lot more than it is, and it takes no time. Everybody sends out emails. Drop me an email with your suggestions, your comments, your perhaps thoughts about something we might cover in the future. And I think David's thing about how weird bands got their names might end up on there if we can figure it out ourselves. I would not use Facebook much anymore. I don't really see Facebook. If we're on Facebook, it's usually my wife. It's, I think, Kim and Gary Miller. And you could probably drop a line there and I would eventually get it, but I don't check Facebook very much. But I do check X constantly, at least once or twice a week. And a lot of people find it easier to get a hold of me sending me a direct message on X, formerly known as Twitter. And so that and the email are the best ways to get a hold of me, I believe.
Okay. Well,
and Dave as well.
With that said, we also, I said it at the beginning of the program, I'll say it again. We do come to you from the Museum of Radio and Technology, 1640 Florence Avenue here in Huntington. Please stop by, check them out, drop them off a couple of dimes if you got it. They'd surely appreciate it. And it's a fantastic facility. You need to come out and check the place out, as it is chock full of all sorts of equipment.
I've been through it half dozen times, just walking through, and I see something new every time that I didn't
Exactly
realize.
Right.
I actually meant, people said, what do you did before you did radio? I said, actually, I had a CB radio, where everybody basically did, I guess, back then in the late 60s. And I found a microphone that looks exactly like the microphone I had when I had a CB radio. So there you go. You go. I'm done.
I'll say 10-4 to that. And with that said, we're done. We appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. We thank you for taking the time to spend with us on this Father's Day,
and
2026.
Please, even if you think you're subscribed, please check. Yep. Because I've had people tell me, I'm no longer subscribed. Well, I don't know what that's about.
Like, share, subscribe. It doesn't cost a dime. Click the little bell button down there. That means you will get all the notifications of our new content as soon as it's posted, supposedly. Some people do, some people don't. So we'll work that out. So with that said, we're going to take off and be gone for this episode. Thank you so much for watching and spending your time with us.
We'll probably be 250 years old by the time we come back. I'm not sure. I haven't checked my calendar, but
probably
be somewhere close to the 4th of July.
If that's the case, have a happy 4th of July, a very safe 4th of July. Don't let the fireworks get you. And remember that we live in the greatest country on the face of God's green earth. Don't ever forget that. So take care. God bless. We will see you the next show. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.